Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population and with little or no meaningful engagement leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
Hassan Maiwaya Kangiwa. That's a journalist in Kebbi State who has been detained after exposing rot in a government hospital. Now, accountability is now met with silence, and transparency is being punished with arrest. See, this isn't just about one person. It's about press freedom, public interest, and the cost of speaking the truth to power. Now, in Nigeria, the press is often, described as the fourth estate of the realm, yeah? The watchdog of the society. But, what we see today is that watchdog is being muzzled. Exposing neglect, corruption, or poor service has now become a dangerous thing to do. The detention of this Kangiwa journalist is a stark reminder of how fragile the space for investigative journalism has become. And tonight, we will be examining what it means for investigative reporting in Nigeria and why protecting journalists is essential for protecting the truth, because they go hand in hand, right? Anyway, it's another episode on your favorite primetime show, Ways, and my name is Chioma Kalu. And tonight our conversation would be centered on the price of truth, what the detention of journalist Kangiwa means for press freedom. Now remember, Ways is all about you, as you are the why in Ways. So be a part of the conversation every single day. Add your voice to the conversation of every particular day. And if you haven't done this already, head on to YouTube now and search us out at Official Upgrade TV. Hit the subscribe button, like, share, invite your friends and family to join the show now. When I open the phone lines, I would really want to hear your insights, your intelligent, contributions on the particular topic we're treating today. And as we do always on the show, here is a quote for you to ponder on today. It says, "Censorship is the tool of those who have the need to hide actualities from themselves and from others." This was said by Charles Bukowski. And I'm going to come back to this much later. But first of all, I'll go on a short break. And when I come back, I'll take you through the stories making headlines that caught my eye today. Don't go away. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, welcome to Ways. Just before we go into our topic of interest, here are a few news stories that made headlines today and caught my interest. The first one is about the 2027 elections. Police and INEC move against early campaigns. Now, the story says, as the race towards the 2027 general election gathers momentum, the Independent National Electoral Commission and the Nigeria Nigeria Police Force have warned political parties against embarking on early campaigns in violation of the electoral law. Now, the INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, lamented that parties had already kicked off subtle campaigns despite clear provisions that restricted such activities to 150 days before the polls. Now, the development has drawn sharp reactions across the political space. And while former INEC boss Jega called for firm measures to curb the trend, the opposition party, PDP, and the ADC have accused the ruling party, APC, of being the worst offender. The APC, however, defended the commission's position as, even as the, IGP, Kayode Ebetokun vowed to enforce the law against violators. Now, INEC boss Professor Yakubu also on Wednesday decried the increasing cases of early political campaigns across the country, labeling them a clear breach of Nigeria's electoral law and a threat to democratic governance. I mean, I want to say a lot of things on this particular story, because if you live in Lagos, well, I don't know about other cities, but if you live in Lagos, you would see a lot of campaign posters, will I say billboards? A few billboards, posters here and there. If you take the route of the Third Mainland Bridge, there was a time that you couldn't pass there without counting at least 10 or 15 posters of 2027 elections, campaigns of a particular political party, yes. So I hope this warning by the INEC, I hope the commission is not just referring to a particular set of persons and excluding others, right? Do with this information what you want. Moving on to my second story of interest, it says resident doctors give FG fresh 24-hour ultimatum. Now, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors have issued the federal government a fresh 24-hour ultimatum to meet its outstanding demands following expiration of its earlier 10-day deadline on September 10th. Now, the decision followed a 6-hour meeting of the association's National Executive Council held on Wednesday, that was yesterday. Now, the president of NAR, Dr. Tokbe Osundara, said the association acknowledged the government's promise to address their concerns, but insisted on immediate action. In a communique issued on September 1st, the doctors demanded immediate payment of the outstanding 2025 Medical Residency Training Fund, settlement of 5 months arrears from the 25 to 35%, consolidated medical salary structure review, and other, long-lasting salary backlogs. And speaking with newsmen today, Dr. Sundara said the federal government... Okay, now, this is something, a quote he said, the federal government called us yesterday and promised to address our concerns. After a 6-hour deliberation, we decided to give the government the next 24 hours to ensure the disbursement of the Medical Residency Training Fund to beneficiaries for the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria to upgrade our membership certificates and to attend to our other demands. If there is no payment by today, Thursday, then tomorrow, Friday, we will start the strike immediately. I hope this doesn't happen. I hope this doesn't happen. And sometimes it's really sad that the people at the receiving end are the patients, the poor patients in the hospital, because now they're left at the mercy of whatever diseases they're having to consume them, right? I really hope the government heeds these doctors and, let them come to an agreement. It's not fun. It's not interesting. It's not something worthy of praise that every 4 market days in this country, some organizations, some union are going on strike. It's not nice, right? It's really not nice. And I feel like the healthcare system is one system, just like education, that we really have to pay close attention to. I mean, look at the story we're going to talk about later today. It still borders on the healthcare system. It's not something to joke around, not something to turn a blind eye on. So whoever is in charge, the federal government, something has to be done, really. If for no reason. First of all, we're condemning the brain drain that is happening in the country recently. But these are the issues, right? These are the reasons these doctors would pack up their bags and leave. Because you have to appreciate what you have. You have to treat them right, at least. We're not asking too much. Anyway, like I said, I hope something good comes out of it. And to my last story of interest, Tinubu orders a FEC committee to crash food prices. Oh my goodness. So the story says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has called on the Federal Executive Council Committee to move swiftly and implement measures to further reduce food prices across the country. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, disclosed this yesterday during a capacity building workshop for Senate's correspondents in Abuja. Now, according to him, the directive focuses on ensuring the safe passage of farm produce across transport routes to cut logistics costs. Now, Abdullahi said the plan was tied to Tinubu's broader vision of food sovereignty beyond availability to ensure affordability, accessibility, and nutrition on a sustainable basis. He said that the government is set to roll out a farmer soil health scheme to boost productivity and a revamped cooperative reform initiative to mobilize resources and empower rural farmers. You know, a lot of times in this country, we are all back and no bite. And honestly, it's not just to say it. There's a lot of policies there are lots of policies that have been rolled out, a lot of initiatives here and there. But, you know, we just have press conferences and we announce them and that's it, right? So I hope beyond just telling us that the president has directed the Federal Executive Council to, you know, crash the prices of food, I hope we're going to monitor this and ensure its implementation down to the last consumer. I hope we're going to get into the market, you know, do a market survey to see those defaulting. You know, let's all benefit from this country, for God's sake, right? So whatever it is, you said you're going to roll out a farmer soil health scheme. I really hope you do that because food is important. Right? It's very, very important to stay alive with food. Anyway, that's all the story that caught my interest today. We're going to go on a short break, and when I come back, we'll dive right into our topic for tonight. Don't go away.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we will analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we'll connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time.
right, welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. And if you're just joining us, tonight's conversation, we're talking about the price of truth. You know, what the detention of journalist Kangiwa means for press freedom. Now, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation by sending an SMS or WhatsApp to 0818-038-4663. Also, my phone lines are open now. You can call on 070-2500-7749 and also on 0701-4242-420. Let's hear your insights. Now, to the matter at hand, the detention of the journalist Hassan Maiwaya, Kangiwa in Kebbi State, after he exposed the state of the government hospital in the particular city where he is in Kebbi State, right? You know, the situation is more than an isolated case. It reflects the dangerous climate in which truth tellers now operate in Nigeria. So press freedom now is under pressure. Investigative voices are being silenced, and the public's right to know is at stake. Tonight, we're not just, you know, talking about one journalist. We're talking about the survival of accountability, you know. Before I let in my guests, I mean, there are videos, right? The video this particular journalist uploaded. If you're looking at your screen, you see an elderly man lying on the bed frame. Oh, my Lord. You know, this is the state of the hospital. You know, and this guy comes out to say, oh, look at what is happening. It wasn't a framed up narrative he was trying to push. This is an actual thing happening. This is an evidence, right? Look at the hospital without a bed. This is supposed to be a government hospital, right? I think I saw another clip where the hospital was flooded with water, you know. And this is a government hospital. And the first time I saw that particular video of the hospital being flooded with water, I asked myself, you come to a clinic, you come to a hospital to get healed of whatever sickness you're having, right, in your body, and then you are being treated in the flood. I'm not even sure the doctors step into that water to fix, you know, to treat these people. And then you're leaving, you know, with another illness, because imagine, just take a look. Imagine coming for your treatment in a place like this, right? Are you not wondering the kind of sickness you're going to be living with? Now, this is the dilapidated state of majority of Nigeria's healthcare system. The other day we were talking about the primary healthcare in different places in Nigeria and how much of a sorry state most of them are in. Take a look. This is a hospital. This is not something to joke about. And then somebody calls you out. Somebody makes this video. And instead of you fixing what the problem is, you're throwing the guy in jail, you're detaining him. I'm just going to be calm. I'm going to bring in my guest. He's a journalist as well. His name is Ofonime Okon. Okon, thank you for joining me this evening.
What?
Thank you for being here. Sometimes at this point, I don't even know what to ask, because it's a very stressful video to look at. How do you feel as a journalist with the detention of Kangiwa?
It's sad. It's terrible. And it goes to show the kind of society we are in. You know, I always like to narrow this thing to the kind of government we have at the moment. People always say that the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, was the best thing that has ever happened to us. Because, you know, after then, the successive governments have been terrible, so to put. Mm-hmm. Most importantly, you know that the current president, the APC, rose to power, rose to stardom with that change mantra. They were offering or pretending to offer us so much hope. But it's been so disappointing, especially in the last 2 years. If not, how do you detain a journalist for mainly carrying out his job? Don't forget, like you said in your preamble, that we have journalists at the fourth extent of the realm.
That's right.
What does that mean? That we have the executive, we have the judiciary, and we have the legislative arm of government. Closely after them is the journalists and the fourth extent of the realm, apart from the three arms of government that we have. What does this imply? It implies that we should serve as checks and balances. We should serve as a bridge between the government and the people. We are the watchdog of the society. We are the one to tell the government, oh, this thing you are doing, you're not doing right. And we are the one to also serve as an intermediary to the people to say, okay, this thing that the government said they will do, they have actually done it. Or this thing they said they will do, they have not done it. Let me narrow it down to this incident. A journalist has gone to see a story, and then he has brought it to public gear. Instead of you to call the journalist to say, let's hear from us, because that's the trying to give them a fair hearing as demanded by our ethics. Oh, I've gone to social hospital in your state, and I've seen that in the bed, the patient is only sleeping, there are no bed sheet and everything. Please, can we get your own side of the story? The next thing you do is to throw him inside prison. It's a terrible situation that we are in, very terrible situation. It shows how we are being muzzled, how we are being intimidated, even in the course of doing our legitimate work. It's a terrible thing. This cannot be termed to be the hazard of journalism, because this is beyond hazard. If it was hazard, I would say, okay, maybe the accident or whatsoever, or natural disaster. But this is just out of it. It's a pitiable situation that the government of Kebbi State will go to this land to detain a journalist for carrying out his job. It was not a fiction. It was not a cover-up. It was not a made-up story for you to say, okay, you didn't do your work accurately. The videos you've shown us, you've shown the public, you've shown Nigerians, it's clear that that situation is pitiable. And the journalist has shown you this is the state of things in social hospital, and you're putting him putting him in prison. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. That's all I can say for now.
Listening, putting my ear down to hear what charges they are going to, put out and say, oh, this is the reason we're arresting, or this is the reason we arrested this guy. I've been very curious to hear, but up until now, the government of Kebbi State hasn't really come out to tell us anything. But now, some people argue that the journalist should have used maybe internal channels before publishing his report or something. Do you think that argument, holds any water?
Okay, let me say, one of the first things they will come up with, they'll come up with their usual trump-up charges of whatsoever allegations they will come up with. Which other way were you expecting the journalist to have gone about his duty? If I go, okay, like today, I was doing a report. I was working on a report. In the past 2 weeks, there have been some political violence in Rivers State. And there are evidence to show, like what you showed in the hospital. And I'm going about interviewing the victims. I'm going about interviewing the people that were involved in the incident. So what other evidence do you want me to show? There are no other way to do it. The only better way to do it is after he has done his report, after he has gone on a fact-finding mission, after he has gone to the place, to the hospital to see things for himself, the best and other option he has is to go back to the government of Kebbi State, go back to the Commissioner for Health. Oh, so, Minister, I have gone to a social hospital in Kebbi State. This is the state of things I've seen in this hospital. Please, what is government doing in this regard? That's the only obligation he has to the government. No other thing again. He wasn't stealing. He was only going about his legitimate duty. And he has uncovered the facts. How do you detain him? And like I said, the next morning you hear that they will prefer trauma charges on him, that he was trying to incite the public. Oh, I don't understand. It shows the kind of society we're in. It shows the kind of government that is in government at the moment. And these people don't deserve to be in these offices, because they hold this office in public trust. And this is how they betray us. When it is time for campaign, you won't see them misbehave. But the moment they have this mandate, they misbehave, they become emperors, they become dictators, and you see them doing things outside the board. So, like I said, it's terrible, and they are doing this. But like, let me also say that the journalists didn't go out of line, and there are no better ways. There are no better ways to have done this than to get a response from them, to know their reaction on why things are like that in that particular hospital.
You know, I was just trying to remember if you remember, you know, during the NSAS protest era, you know, some people were arrested just because they spoke or just because they covered a report or something, right? Now, anyway, how do you respond to concerns that, you know, people have concerns that, you know, this kind of reports that this guy did, you know, it going to expose the systemic rot in these institutions like the hospitals, you know, could embarrass the government even though it serves the people's interests. How do you respond to that?
Embarrass the government in what sense? How? If this video didn't leak, you know, you see them having a press conference or having a commissioning. So hospital in Kebbi is one of world-class hospital. You know, world-class, they will give it a kind of coloration they want to give. But now we have uncovered this. Where did the journalists err? Where did it go wrong? Okay, inciting what? If these journalists had done something, let's say AI, because we are in the period of AI, he has manufactured or he has conjured, it's AI driven. That is where you can say he should pay a price. What we should do now is, why don't we constitute independent investigators? Let's go to that hospital. If we see something on the contrary, then we should pay the price. I will not take sides in that line. But if we now put this panel together and then we now go and see that true, the guy was being factual, the report is accurate and not done out of sentiment or to malign the government, then you set him free. Set him free. He didn't do anything out of scope. He didn't do anything out of the line. He has only uncovered a true situation in that hospital. And I think the idea of, you know, people don't understand this. The core responsibility, or one of the responsibilities of journalists, all these things we do, our intention is to make the society a better place.
That's right.
Our intention is to draw the attention of the government that in social place things are not going on well. Our intention is to say, can we put this thing in right perspective? This hospital is in a poor state. The state government, please, can you come to ameliorate the plight of the people? Because it's not only the patients, even the doctors, the nurses are also suffering from it. Let's assume that a doctor or a nurse has to sleep overnight, or it will work all through the night. If a patient does not have a way to sleep, where will the doctor sleep? Where will the nurse sleep? Won't this affect on the overall output of the doctor or the nurse? What about the patient that came? That means it shows that they'll almost be sleeping on the bed floor. So what are we saying? What are we talking about? This was me to call the journalists and say, please, is there any way we can tone down on this, at least for public, we help them, give them that incentive. We're trying to get the media, trying to censor it. This is unheard of. How do you try to censor in this modern era where we have social media, it can be escalated every second. We have all forms of platform this moment. Everything you post is already online. The best approach, even going to ahead to arrest him, we are even escalating instead of de-escalating this situation. Because now, before now, I didn't know it. Let me be plain with you. I didn't know it. After you intimidated me, I had to do something. I said, wow, it's a serious matter. But this thing would have been handled in a better way. I remember this activist, what happened, talking about the judges in the country. I don't know whether you know that report, but some months back. And they said, they're going to stamp this on him, stamp that on him. Also, that story attracted international attention. Something that you'd have just called the person indoor and say, oh boy, okay, not true, this is not true. Please, let's not escalate it. Let's try to tame down, and then we go back as government, go back to work, and then see how we can solve this situation, see how we can address these concerns you've raised. And you're going to arrest him. It's a bad decision. I think the people that advise the government, either the commissioner or the governor, didn't do that. He didn't do a thorough job in that regard.
I actually don't even think there's anything to negotiate with a journalist doing his job.
No, just to make it easy for them. Just to make it easy.
There's no need for that. Just do your job. That's what it is for me. You know, that's what it is. Just do your job. Anyway, just before we go ahead, right? I'm going to bring in my other guest. And he is Comrade Declan Ihekari, the National Coordinator, Activist for Good Governance. Are you here, sir? Good evening.
What's with you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you for being here. So you already know what we're talking about, the Kangiwa journalist.
Absolutely.
Yes. Tell me how that makes you feel as an activist.
Well, it makes me feel that it makes me feel that we're not in democracy. It makes me feel highly and more disappointed in the current government. More so, the president of Nigeria today, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, claims to be a democratic leader or a Democrat. And this is happening before him. So it's a big shame that voices are being silenced every day in this nation. It's quite sad. And I'm happy that Nigerians are waking up to understand the fact that we are now more in a military regime than in a democratic setting. And I pray and I wish that the consequences that bestows military regime does not happen in this current instance. Thank you.
All right. We're going to go on a short break now, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. We're talking about the price of truth in Nigeria, using the detention of a journalist, Kangiwa, in Kebbi State as, you know, our case study. Now, coming to you, Mr. Ofonime, you're still with us, yeah?
I'm here.
Great. Okay, so now, what legal or, you know, institutional safeguards could protect we journalists now from being harassed or detained for doing our jobs in the future? Because, you know, this is not the first case we're seeing like this. So what can we use? What legal stance can we put in place to safeguard ourselves?
Currently in Nigeria, I don't think we have a legal stand or legal ground whatsoever, nomenclature you call it, to protect journalists in this country. Let me take myself as a case study. During the 2015 elections in Rivers State, in the course of covering that election, I was stripped of my clothing in that election. I came back from an LGA in the Ogune axis of Rivers State, half naked. The only thing you see that time, oh, condemnation, a journalist has been assaulted, has been bullied, has been done this in part of the. After 1 week, everything goes solo, everything goes down. In this case of a Kangiwa, after 2-3 days, you see everything where we just go solo and nobody will talk about it. When we have those things you just mentioned, legalize this and all of that, are in developed countries. You know, all these things fall in place as the country, as the society develop. Talk about journalism being in short. It can happen in Nigeria. Where have you seen, or what's the case study that you can make a reference that when it happened to Ofonime, for instance, this is the thing that we done, okay, the punitive measures from the government or was from any of the institutions? Nothing. Where you can be practicing with your head so high, developed countries, UK, US, you see them. You see it. Let's take, for instance, this incident that happened in US yesterday. I can tell you for free that the government will get to the root of it. But in Nigeria, when we talk about it for 1 or 2 days, everywhere, everybody goes quiet. But you know one thing that they do? They make us to stockpile our anger. They make us to keep stock of whatsoever we are suffering in this country. And, you know, there will always be a day of reckoning. Take, for instance, what happened in Nepal yesterday. Are they not running for their life? The leaders.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's going to put a shock waiver to those in Nigeria that we have suffered so much. You made reference to the NSAS incident. That one came and no action. No action was taken. Even the hardship we are facing in this country. Let's not talk about journalists. Nigerians, have we come out from it? Look at the pump price of fuel now in the country. The cost of living in the country is expensive. It's outrageous. It's high. You know, but you know, we are keeping this. We are doing as if all is well with us. But a day of reckoning will come that we will rise as a country and say to our leaders, enough is enough. And when that time comes, what happened in Nepal yesterday will also be will be seen, will be witnessed in this country, because we have had to our head. It's getting too much on us. It's giving us sleepless night every day. So on the whole, we need to wake up as a country. We need to wake up as a people. We need to wake up to demand accountability. We need to demand that things should be done the right ways. We need to demand that enough of this rascality. We need to demand that this rule of law should not only be practiced on newspapers, but it should be entrenched in our day-to-day life. That the way we see things done rightly in developed countries, and we go outside to those countries, we see them. When we come back, why can't we also make it work in this country? So we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. The institutions in this country are gone. They're not working. You talk about INEC. I saw one of your adverts. You talk about INEC, raising alarm that people are campaigning. They have been keeping quiet for the past 2 years. They have been seeing APC people, APC, governors from other parties. They have been seeing people doing campaigns. You know, it is well with them. But the irony in all these things is that, you know, the police, and this also goes to has much to say about our institution. You see the police providing cover for one party, and then the next party will want to do its own. Oh, the police will say, no, the state is fragile, you can't do it. Oh, security risks and all of that. We have a long way to go in this country, and it makes me to be sick when I see things like this happening in this country.
Come to you, Comrade Declan. Okay. So now, the KB Hospital expose is just one case. What do you think? Because, you know, it has come to reflect the broader collapse of Nigeria's public health system. So why do you think, you know, hospitals, especially state-owned hospitals, have become hotbeds for corruption and mismanagement? Let me hear what you have to say.
Why would it be that way? When you have our leaders turning out country medical tourism, you find our governors, our presidents, ministers, local government chairmen going outside the country for medical tourism. And so nobody among them is on ground to actually understand the pain you and I are going through in our medical system in this country. The same thing happens in our educational system, where they take their children out of the country for study. And here in this country, our schools are going down in quality every day. And so it's just point to the fact that we have unserious-minded leaders in this country. We have leaders that have lost their conscience. And it's very sad when Nigerians ought to wake up and demand accountability from these so-called leaders. That is when you find them taking a jerica of rice, taking peanuts from them, voting for them again, until we get to the level where the Nigerian masses take their future into their own hands. We might not get it right. INEC is not helping us out to checkmate the excesses of these so-called leaders. Because in a situation where somebody is voted out and INEC brings back such a person, and we also find the judiciary also stamping that illegality, automatically it will translate to making our institutions, health, infrastructure, education, it will collapse everything. And so what you're saying is a reflection coming from bad leadership. Those that does not practice what they preach. They will tell you they're patriotic. But are they patriotic? You know how many times Mr. President has gone out of this country for medical tourism? You know how many times our ministers go out for medical tourism? You know how many times even commissioners of health or some states travel out for medical tourism? This is the peak of psychopathy in governance. And I pray, and I also pray, that may it not get to the level that the masses will begin to fight back. Thank you.
I'm glad you mentioned the masses sometimes being swayed. Not sometimes, many times being swayed by these politicians, you know, the derrickas of rice, as you mentioned. Because I was going to ask the journalist, a funny man, you know, what the people at the grassroots can actually do to, you know, help people like Kangiwa who risk their lives on their behalf, demanding for what they deserve. How can the people in the grassroots level now help fight the job these journalists come to do for them, especially when they have incentives from the government?
I think the people are handicapped.
How so?
I also know that. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Go ahead.
I think the people are handicapped. The system has emasculated the people, making them so impotent. You know, you see a situation that... are you there?
Yes, I am. Go ahead, I can.
So, like I said earlier, the system is not helping us. The system is porous. The system is terrible. You even see situations where a brother is being is being hired to go after the next person from the same family. You see somebody from the same family attacking one another for selfish interest. You know, these politicians, they have a way of piercing through organizations, piercing through in individuals, and, you know, making them to be handicapped, making them not to be able to function effectively. And that can be seen in the present move by the people in the corridor of power trying to destroy other parties in this country so that they may not have any opposition in the next election. As we speak now, we know that the Labour Party is personalized. We know that PDP is gone and buried. And we are also seeing signs that they're also trying to pierce through this ADC. You know, all these things are calculated attempts, arrangements by the government in power, by the government at the center to weaken everything we are going to do in the build-up to the next election. So this can be used as a case study to what we are seeing in the society, because You go to society, go to rural communities, we see government using government influence to kill the other person. To, when I say kill, not like in terms of killing, trying to subdue the other persons. So it can't work. It's about the system. It's about the system. It's about the system. If the system is not working, the people can't do anything. And I used to say, forgive me, forgive me. It's my opinion. I've shared this opinion when I was doing my undergraduate, when I was in school. And I said, for us to get it right in this country, forgive me, this is my opinion. I shouldn't express it openly as a journalist. But as a journalist also, I have my views as a Nigerian on how I feel things can be better. I feel that if you don't get to the era of what happened in Egypt, you remember what happened at the square. I don't want to mention it so that I don't aggravate the situation. If you don't get to that place where the people come out to say enough is enough, I can bet you will make no headway. Will not make any headway until the people rise and say, no, we have had enough of this. And like what happened in Nepal, if you don't get to that place, you don't get to that level, we remain where we are and will never make any progress in this country.
If I let the both of you go, I have one question that I need the both of you to answer. So let's assume that the Kebbi state government is watching us, right? What would be your urgent message regarding the detention of Kangiwa and also regarding the exposure, he brought to us concerning that particular government hospital in Kebbi state? Let's start with you, Comrade Declan.
Yes, please come again. Please come again.
Oh, okay. I was asking,
I
assuming the Kebbi state government were to be watching you right now, what would be your urgent message to them regarding Kangiwa, who is being detained as we speak, and also regarding the poor state of health care in the state, as we've seen in the government hospital that Kangiwa showed us just before he was detained?
For me, I just wish and pray that the governor will be so able to understand the fact that he has got himself on his foot. If only he understands that, then he will do the right thing. But if he still believes that he is right and the journalist was wrong, he will be making a great mistake and a disservice to himself and to whoever is around him, who must have advised him to do what he has done. A reasonable governor now should concentrate on righting the wrong. A reasonable governor now of government should by now be thinking on how to award that journalist, award him rightly, making him an ambassador of the health system in that state. After all, we have people who never deserved to be made ambassador in this nation, who were involved in misconduct, and they were eventually made ambassadors of the aviation system.
That's right.
This journalist has done well, and he has exposed the obvious. If what he has exposed was not right, it's a different ballgame. But what he exposed was what was on ground and is still on ground till now. And so the governor should do the needful by making sure he's released and making sure that he's compensated by making him an ambassador for the health system in Kebbi State.
Okay, just before...
Anything short of this will mean that the governor has no conscience and is full of himself.
Just before Ofonime responds, right, I want to ask, you are an activist. What role does the civil society have to play in ensuring that the governor does all this you have mentioned that they should do for Kangiwa instead of detaining him?
That is exactly what we're doing now. And I'm sure your medium house will broadcast this beyond the shore of this country. They are listening. They have media advisors. They have commissioners of information that will tell them what they are saying now. That rather than punishing that journalist, the right thing should be on how to make him an ambassador of health. If possible, commissioner for health in that state. So what we're doing is what we ought to be doing. And I'm sure people around that state are also watching, and they will do the needful. But for me, through your medium, I will advise that governor to be wise in the sense that this journalist has been able to tell him the obvious, which he must comply with.
Okay, Ofonime, I want you to respond to that. Your urgent message to the Kebbi State government, if they were to be listening to you.
Let me start by saying that it was a wrong move, wrong step ab initio to have even tried to vilify a journalist for speaking out, for saying the truth. And I like with my brother that says it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened. If, like I said in my opening speech, if the journalist had come up with an AI-driven video, if the video he released was not factual, that is where I would have supported the government in whatsoever decision is taken. But we have come to see, we have shown the video, we have shown the world the video, that everything that was done by the journalist was factual, were accurate. So now that the state government has made a mistake, because no one is above mistake. As Christians, we always err. Because to err is human and to forgive is divine. Okay, we have done the wrong thing by even arresting the journalist in the first place. Let's go to the drawing board. And what do you do in the drawing board? Oh, we are sorry for arresting you. We are sorry for even going a step further to detain you. Tender an unreserved apology to the journalist openly in the media space, and then try to see how you can right the wrongs that you have done. If possible, like he said, compensate him duly, and then try to see how he can also be entrenched, because he's also doing the people a good. Because with what he has done today, whether the government like it or not, if they are wise enough, they should take a step to try to put the hospital in order. If that is done, it will benefit the people. It will benefit the government as well, because they will also have good publicity. Again, they may also not be bothered, because we can't see any of them, any government officials going there for medical care. They will not be going there. Their children will not be going there. So it means that, the people can continue to suffer. While they live in affluence, while they go outside, overseas for medical treatment, we see governors, in their state, they will claim to be building state-of-the-art hospitals. But when they have common malaria, they are outside the country. So who are you deceiving? Who are you deceiving? They're deceiving us. We know these things, and that is why I commend the journalists for unraveling this truth, unraveling this fact, because that is what we are called for. Everybody have their role to play in the society. The journalists have its role to play. The teacher has its role to play. The doctor has its role to play. Even the governor has its role to play. The commissioners. So we are guided by our duties. We are guided by responsibilities, all intended to shape the society, to make it a better place for the poor and the rich. And that's what I think should be done. The government should just immediately, after this moment, release that journalist and then compensate him duly for arresting him wrongfully ab initio.
Tonight, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. Mr. Ofonime Okon, a journalist and activist, Declan Ihekiri. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. Moving on, I mean, tonight's conversation reminds us of, two urgent truths. First is a broken healthcare system that costs lives. When your healthcare system is broken, it's going to go beyond infrastructure. It's going to actually cost the lives of the people that depend on it. And also, silencing those who expose it costs democracy. These are two truths we have to take home tonight. Now, when a journalist is punished for revealing rot in a hospital, it's not just a press freedom issue. It's a public health emergency. Now, if Nigeria truly wants better health care, then transparency, accountability, and the courage to face uncomfortable truths must come first. Protecting journalists is not optional. It's an essential part to saving both democracy and the lives of ordinary Nigerians. I hope our governments are listening in and taking to heart everything that's been said on this table tonight. Now, thank you very much for listening to me. I'll see you tomorrow. And just before I go, do ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all our social media engagements. And remember to like, share, comment, and invite your family and friends to watch us and follow. If you missed the quotes of the day, here it is. It says, censorship is the tool of those who have the need to hide actualities from themselves and from others, and was said by Charles Bukowski. I'll see you tomorrow. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, lives a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.